conversation, including on this show. He tweeted this yesterday. When I see my name or my brothers and sisters' names getting spun through the media, I refer to all my research about who they are. Their job is to control public perception, all while profiting off of, discussing, discrediting, and disrespecting people's lives for entertainment. He went on to say, I send shots at the puppet masters, not the puppets. All the puppets do is run around society trying to gain popularity and state opinions. What a life. My name is worth billions to these media corporations. My brothers and sisters who deal with this know exactly what I mean. All right, Stephen A. and Keyshawn still here with me. Stephen A., your response to those tweets, and there were more by Kyrie. That was just a portion of them.
I'm going to be calm when I say this, Key. We are witnessing one of the most delusional athletes in American history. He's lost. Because he's so big on telling everybody else they're lost. Kyrie is also slick because he's trying to get away with something that I'm not going to allow him to get away from. You can try to paint this issue, Kyrie, into anything you want. What it comes down to and what everybody's focusing on, you don't want to show up to work. You want to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, while you got your hand out for somebody else's money. And then when you get called on it, we're the peons. We're the ones who are puppets. So before you excoriated us, now you're pitying us. Because what you want to do is highlight the puppet masters, who you are worth billions to. You're not worth billions, bro. Millions, yes. Billions, no. That's delusional. You gave that up years ago. Kyrie Irving, Keyshawn, as I've said on many occasions, is arguably the most spectacular talent in the NBA. He is box office. I remember taking the liberty of calling out Isaiah Thomas, my buddy, because he was on NBA TV the night Kyrie Irving dropped 60. And basically the paraphrase, like, you see this, Stephen A., what about now, blah, 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 blah. And I said to Isaiah Thomas, what the hell you think I'm talking about? That's what we want to see. You're so spectacular. We want to see you play. Kyrie actually looks down on us because we want to see him play. And we're demanding that you play. You played 20 games your first year in Brooklyn. That means you missed, 62 games, whatever, but I think the season was halted at that time because of the pandemic, okay? But you missed your share of games. You come back the next year, you play 54 games. You come back this year, it's the pandemic. You missed 53 games. Kyrie Irving is one of the greatest professionals at missing work. Right now, the season is over. He got 6 months off. 6 months off on top of the 53 games that he missed, okay? And he's getting paid over $30 million. And don't think for 1 second he didn't get his money. He got money now. He got his money when he missed. So here you are. You don't want to work unless you want to do it when you want to do it. You come back from the whole mandate. And even though you had spectacular games, there were other games where you were struggling. And literally, he went on the record and was talking about he ain't got his legs. That he's a little bit tired. Well, what the hell were you doing with all of that time off? It's beyond the pale to ask that question. And then you go out on a Twitter rant and you start spewing this stuff. Why? Because the media who gets paid to cover the sport is asking you about the sport you voluntarily signed up to play, getting paid an exorbitant amount of dollars to play. Half the time you don't show up to work. They point it out. They point out the load that you put on your teammates because of your absence and talk about how that may very well be the reason why you got swept out of the first round. And that is on us. See, when you talk about, Keyshawn, a player, and we're talking about, the media's talking about your personal life, I'm down with you, bro. Personal life ain't none of our business. You know me. You know how I roll. Ain't none of my damn business. Play. What you do with your personal life is your business. I ain't got nothing to say about that. Okay? But what you sign up for professionally, what people are professionally assigned to cover, they have a right to sit up there and say, yo, you ain't showing up to work. There's always something with you. There's always something. And so when he goes on a Twitter rant like this, to me, it is an evasive tactic to try to infuse or implement race, beliefs, or whatever into the equation. Ain't nobody going there. All we saying is you are a spectacular talent who is a professional at taking time off. It's 11 years in this league, Keyshawn. He has played 60 games or less 7 times. That means in nearly 3/4 of his career, or to nearly 2/3 of his career, this brother takes a quarter of the season off on top of the 6 months he religiously gets off. It's egregious. It makes no sense. And the fact that he could sit up there and act at a time when he is swept, home watching the playoffs just like us, not participating, having broomsticks brought to your building, a building you very infrequently show up for, by the way, to sit up there and act like you are a victim and somebody has mistreated you is what I find weak and sad.
What I would say about this, though, Stephen A., look, if I'm giving him any advice, stop being rabbit ears. Don't, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about what I played, about what the media said. That's just play. Whatever the case may be, you play. Whether you're black, you white. I've had black writers say negative things about me. I've had white writers say negative things about me. Didn't affect my life one bit.
Right.
As far as his decision not to get vaccinated affected his team, I believe that. But it's his choice on whether or not he wants somebody sticking a needle in his arm.
Sure.
It's his choice. But when you make that choice, in that decision, here's the consequence. You're going to wind up, as he said, having no continuity with the team. Things are all messed up. James Harden leaving because he didn't want to put up with it anymore. That's what's going to come about it. And you are right. People are paid in the media to cover a sport because that's what you're supposed to do. And you have an opinion based on what you see. Doesn't mean you dislike him. You're not in his personal life or anything like that. But again, the one thing that I would say to Kyrie, stop having rabbit ears, man. Stop paying attention to the negativity that you think that's out there.
One of the things I want to say, and I want to bring you up, because you were in the media capital of the world. You got drafted #1 overall by the New York Jets. You were in the media capital of the world. Yeah, Keyshawn, you didn't give a damn. But there was a reason why you could get away with not giving a damn. And it wasn't just because of your ability on the football field. It's because you showed up to work. See, that's a key thing. In other words, you sat up there and somebody talked to you about your job. If you had a difference of opinion than they did, fine. But they were talking to you about a job you were doing. This brother is offended that people are pointing out you're not doing your job because you ain't showing up. When Kevin Durant was out on the court, we made the argument. Kevin Durant didn't say much about it. He tried his best, but he looked exhausted at times, okay? And looked injured. Nobody wants to point out how, all of those nights you had to go out on the court without Kyrie. Who's the reason you came to Brooklyn? Who was the reason James Harden came to Brooklyn? Who assembled the squad? Steve Nash is in Brooklyn because Kyrie and KD signed off on it because Kyrie got KD to sign off on it. All of this stuff. You got your fingerprints all over this franchise, but you didn't show up when it counted, and you detrimentally hurt the team, and everybody else are puppets and puppet masters because we point out that you did not show up to do your job and had a negative impact on this team.
That's misinformation being given to him by somebody, even his own self. Misinformation about the way people view him not playing. If he would have simply got vaccinated, he would have played. But if you remember early on, he didn't know. So he didn't know the mandate was coming down.
But you have to remember what I said. Remember, before there was a vaccine, the brother got 10 months off.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks into the season, took time off because he was traumatized by the riots. So traumatized that he was caught partying. And then the NBA had to make him stay off additional time because he violated safety protocols. What I'm saying to you is that we have evidence that shows that Kyrie marches to his own beat. It's not that he's lazy. It's not that he doesn't put in work. He's the kind of dude, Molly and Keyshawn, Kyrie will do 3 hours. Let's say, for example, hypothetically, it's 3 hours. So you got practice from 10 a.m. to noon. Nah, that brother want to do from 3 to 6. Nah, he want to do from 5 to 8. It's not that he don't want to put in the 3 hours. He want to do it when he wants to do it. That's why he said we don't need a coach, because he didn't want somebody to have to answer to. And see, when people point this stuff out, which is factual, the evidence is there, he sits up there